Um, I guess I'll start with Nurk. Nurk did everything. He's feeling good, feeling better. I think we're hopeful. We'll check in with him tomorrow, but he did everything. Uh, Ryan, I think, did everything, looking and feeling good, and same check in tomorrow. I'd say Kevin did 90% of today's practice, and was good. I think we're hopeful. Check in with him. And Grayson didn't practice today. Grayson may have done, if I'm going percentages, 20% of practice today. So I think to say none would be inaccurate. And I think, we're hopeful another, 24, 48 hours, Grayson will be in a good place.
I mean, you've been in these situations before where guys are out, but as a coach, how do you weigh the you want them back, but need guys healthy?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, our league is really tough. It's a long, I think marathon is often used as a cliche or a comparison, and you got to think big picture and short term and long term, and I think keeping them healthy for as long as possible, giving them, make sure they're healthy, not doing anything that's not wise or smart, just that balance. But our medical staff does a great job. James and Josh do a great job. Communication's good. The players at the end of the day are, they know how they feel and what they can do. So you have to listen and trust your players too.
To that point, when you look at the record without KD, a lot of the guys have saying, we've had enough to win some of these games. Where do you feel like you guys have fallen short, especially during the last three?
Yeah, I think defensively, we're probably not as good as we need to be, to win games. I've had a couple of tough stretches defensively within a game. And then I think the rebounding has stood out, in a couple of the recent games. So that's probably all, defensively. And then, offensively, sometimes it's a little bit execution. Sometimes, credit to the defense. Sometimes it's like you just got to make a couple more plays. And we haven't been able to make those one or two more plays to get us, across the finish line.
Coach, it was announced today your Assist for Hunger program. Just how did that come about, and why is that important to you?
Yeah, I think, coaching and working in San Antonio for 20 plus years, Spurs organization does a lot of amazing things with the food bank, and watched and learned there, and kind of taken it to me every city I've gone to. And hunger is something that just, it's important to me. It's something where hopefully we can make a difference, and you don't want anybody going to bed hungry or waking up hungry. And if we can do something small and give an assist to eliminate it, to raise awareness, I think it's important.
When it comes to the schedule, there aren't many weeks like this where you have multiple practice days. What's it mean for you, the team, coming off the road trip to be able to get that practice time, and also maybe try to integrate these guys that have been injured?
Yeah, no, I mean it's really valuable. It's been a unusual first 2 months where we've had, this is not the first time we've had this chunk. It's not the first time we've had a chunk where guys were coming off of injury and you could practice and have a scrimmage and everybody play together, work together. So I don't think how you would draw up a schedule, but in some ways we've been fortunate, especially when you talk about integrating guys who are coming back off of injury. It's been good for us.
Coach, I just had a couple questions about Holbrook. I took a trip to Budenholzer Court, and one thing I took is that it's not just named after your dad or you, but it kind of represents your whole family. Could you just speak about the importance of your family to Holbrook and vice versa?
Yeah, no, I think that I think we all say it's named after my dad, and the school is probably like, there's all of you. My mom was the mayor of Holbrook. My brother Jim won a state championship in '71, and I'm still jealous of him today. I think my brothers, my other brothers, played sports, did, student council, president, leaders, my sisters in sports and leaders, and it's just a big family, seven of us kids, and hopefully we had a positive impact on the community, the school, and yeah, it's nice to have that recognition, especially for my dad, and I would say my mom too. Proud of it for sure.
When you were out of the league last season, did you take a trip down there at all?
I did not make it to Holbrook. I'm sure my mom and dad are probably not happy with me. So I didn't make it to Holbrook. I made it to the White Mountains some, but I can't remember. I think it's been 2 or 3 years since I've been back to Holbrook.
Just last thing I had about that is, I was wondering if you could tell me about res ball and being around
Yeah.
that style of basketball. How did it influence your coaching?
Yeah, I mean, res ball, it's a real thing. You know, I played in a lot of tournaments on the reservation, and you know, at times I think I was 14, 13, 15 years old, and I'm getting popped with an elbow from, you know, a 30, 35-year-old guy that's hooping on the res. And it toughened me up for sure. If you went on the res, you needed to be ready to play. And I think there's a style and a lot of running, playing fast, shooting a lot of threes. I had no idea that I would maybe fall into that kind of mindset and style. But it was fun playing on the reservation. Half my team were Navajos that could hoop. They were good players. It was fun. I have a lot of respect and a lot of fond memories of the reservation. And I'm glad it kind of gets some recognition and people know a little bit more about it.
How important is this month of December in which teams are starting to form their identities and going through stretches of, obviously you guys have gone through a rough stretch, and the past 2 years the Suns have done that, and you weren't with this team, but you know, what's that like going through a stretch where you lull and trying to move forward towards Christmas into the new year?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think we've talked about, you know, that this was a hard stretch. This was a rough stretch. We got to own it, but we got to look forward. We got to come out of it better. Things like this can make you better, can help you form better winning habits, more competitive habits. You know, as a coach, learn your team better. So it's you know, part of our process. We'd love it if you know, there were no rough stretches, but as long as you learn from them and you come out of them better, I think that's what's most important.
Good. So,
What's it been like getting back after it after a rough road trip and got some days to get some practice time?
feels good, man. We got some scrimmaging in today, so you know, another opportunity to get better and improve, and a few days never hurts.
Looking at obviously you're having a scrimmage, you know, you're involving Kevin and guys getting back. How those guys look as far as getting up and down the floor?
Proven. They look good.
Obviously, your guys' record without KD isn't what you would want it to be. Where do you feel like you guys have kind of missed him the most or fallen short of that?
Every facet of the game, honestly. You know, so hopefully we have him back soon, but you know, we still found some things that we need to work on and get better at. So, you know, that's what the long season's about. Going through these situations and learning from it and getting better.
When you look at some of your recent shooting struggles, is it a matter of the doubles that you're seeing, just missing shots? Like, what are you kind of seeing?
I'd say missing shots. You know, I'd say I'm more frustrated about losing the games than anything, and I know those go hand in hand. But you know, I've had rough shooting nights before, and you come out with the win. So, you know, if the shot's not falling, still trying to find ways to be effective, take care of the ball, defend at a high level.
When you go through stretches like that, does anything change in terms of your approach or preparation, or is it just a matter of knowing that you put in the work and it's going to bounce back the other way at some point?
Yeah, just understand it's a long season. You know, you go through stretches like that, and you know, this is a tough one I'm in, but you know, just got to get it out the mud.
You mentioned just the areas that you guys are looking to improve in. What has maybe been the emphasis these 2 days now heading in Utah?
A lot of defense. You know, that's what I feel we should be hanging our hats on, and you know, stopping the ball, finding rotations out of it. So, you know, just become more familiar with each other on the defensive end. So, you know, we're not stuck running a set and letting people set the defenses every time down court.
I know you said at the beginning of the year vocal leadership was important to you. How is that kind of being tested right now, and how are you growing with your leadership through this stretch?
I mean, you'd have to ask the guys. You know, I'd say, you know, my energy doesn't change. You know, there's like I said, a new opportunity, a new goal, and that's Utah Jazz now, and you know, that's what I'm most focused on. So, you know, in game, just always talking, seeing what I see, and you know, trying to do what helps the team win.
How are you kind of individually processing things, you know, kind of assessing your play, and you know, what do you make of kind of the stretch you guys are having so far right now?
well, I'm not shooting the ball well, as we just spoke about that, but still losing games, and that's the tough part. Later down in the season, you need every win you can get from standings and positioning for home court. So it's time to pick it up.
How do you stay positive with just being sad, the shooting, the losing? You can watch like funny movies or anything like that.
It's always perspective for me. Just waking up, coming in today, and it's just great energy to be around. We have the best job in the world, so I've been through it before. I get over it, and I perform. I do what I do.
You've always talked about getting a bump in, and that's a big thing. The scrimmage today, did they have that feel, that energy that you're looking to have when you're getting guys back?
Mm-hmm.
What's been the biggest? What did you see with Kevin today that you were like, okay, he's getting close to being back?
He looked like himself, so he's moving well, making shots, doing what he does.
Speaking of losing, the past 2 Decembers, you guys have had losing records and compiled 11 and 19. So what exactly is it about this month that you guys take away and look at when you move forward and go through it in this stretch?
It's a whole different setup than last year. It's kind of hard to compare, but I'd rather it December than April.
We talked about losing, but what's kind of encouraging you during the stretch, or as you guys continue to get healthy? What do you feel like can come together and add to what you guys have done when you've shown you're healthy?
We have a super talented team. The guys have won at all levels and knows what it takes to win. So, the open communication's there. We're going to continue to make our adjustments and get on the same page.
I think you, Kevin, and Brad have played a total of 175 minutes together out of like over 1,000. How important is that number to be on the floor together moving forward to get this team where you guys want to be?
Experience is the best teacher, but at the same time, we want to make sure everybody's healthy, and you don't want no compound injury, something that gets worse than if you just took an extra couple of days. So we're just taking the blows, keep going, keep fighting, and it'll be better than then.
I actually saw the Nike product line manager here in the lobby, wondering about you, KD, are the only 2 guys with signature shoes on this team from Nike, and it's very few that have had that in the Suns' history. Barkley and Jason Kidd as well back in the 90s. So what does that mean to continue his legacy, being one of the rare few representing Nike on this team?
Yeah, it's a high standard. It's the highest. It's every kid's dream. It's just been cool to be behind the scenes and seeing the design process, seeing how everything comes together. They're here for KD today, but I'm investing in his line. I grew up rocking all of his shoes, so it's a privilege.
Devin was saying you guys had a scrimmage today. How important is that when you're trying to get really healthy as far as possible?
Yeah, it's very helpful. A couple of those guys that have been out for a while. Scrimmage, so it's good to give them some run and give them a game-like situation.
And obviously with the Clippers, you have Kawhi that missed a ton of games.
Yeah.
Have experience where guys have been out. But do you ever get used to that whole idea of looking over to the bench and going, well, we had him on the floor?
Look, it's easier to do that after the fact. In the moment or approaching the game, to me in the NBA, there's so many good players. I think you always have enough to win on any given night. Like you look at how Brooklyn came in here and they had a guy that we didn't know so much about, and he had a career night. So like there's talent on every roster. You have enough, but there's a reason why Kevin Durant is who he is, and Nurk is such a help. And it'll be good to get those guys back and go for it.
When you look at, obviously, your guys' record without KD is not where you want it to be.
For sure.
Where do you feel like you guys have fallen short during the stretch without him?
Well, I think, just in the games that we've won with him, like he bails us out in a lot of tough, like late clock situations. Obviously, he's our closer in the final moments. But like I said, we had enough to win those games, and we didn't get it done. So, there's different challenges in every part of the season, and we may see it again. And my hope is that we'll be better prepared for that. But obviously happy to have him back.
What's the mindset in the locker room knowing that it's a long season, you guys have vets, but also having a sense of
Urgent. I would say the sense is urgent, and we need to get not just winning, but playing how we want to play. And we're gonna get it going.
You go through so many stretches where there's not a lot of practice time. What does it mean to have these days to refine some things?
It's helpful. I feel like we've been a good practice team, and we get stuff out of it. So we had a good one today, and like you said, getting those guys into practice was healthy.
You weren't on this team last year, but you were on the Clippers when they had that great run in December of 9 straight. So how important is this month, being in this league so long, and basically creating an identity and such going into the new year?
It is. You try to put importance on every segment of the season, but just being fully healthy, having everybody, it'd be nice to get rolling and string some wins together. Like you said, those stretches can be meaningful, and it does bring out a sense of identity if you're able to put some wins together.
And it was a new team last year when you were on that Clippers team, and you got harder. And, of course, Russ was still fairly new, but this team is still new here in Phoenix as well. So, what does this month mean for you in terms of getting healthy, like you said, and whatever?
I think it's I don't really view this as a new team because the main pieces have been here for a little bit. So to me, it's all about, for a guy coming in that's new to the situation, it's how do you complement and how do you make life easier for. I think having a new head coach is definitely new for sure, but I think you look at Brad and Kev, they have some history together. They have a feel for each other, and Nurk and Royce and those guys. So I don't look at this as like a fresh start.
Where do you feel like you guys have missed Durant defensively, on top of not having Ryan and Nurk and their size out there as well?
Yeah, well, he's playing great defense for it. He's super solid, and then he's a good rebounder at his position. So I think you add all those things on the defensive end, and then just his length covers so much of the floor. And even I think the last game he was in, or one of the last two, he has some individual just uplifting defensive plays where he's locking a guy up, blocks him at the end of the shot clock, and when your leader's doing that, it puts some energy into the team.
This is a little off topic, but Coach Budenholzer has his program with assist and addressing hunger. What's it say when you have a head coach that's involved in the community trying to help out in that way? Great.
That's honestly, I didn't even know about that, but that's really cool that he does that, and I'll have to ask him about it because is it around the holidays or what?
No, it's for every assist it's $15 per assist.
Oh, cool.
He's trying to get up to $25,000. It's supposed to be the end game regardless.
That's super cool. I didn't know that. That's cool. He does that.
A lot of extra passes.
Yeah.